All right, everyone. Michelle Obama is now running interference for Hillary Clinton. She came out and said, women who didn't vote for Hillary Clinton voted against their own voice. I'm going to take you through a little bit of a quote here from the article. It's just so funny, if I can find it. What does it mean for us as women that we look at these two candidates and many of us said, that guy, he's better for me. His voice is more true to me. Well, to me that just says you don't like your voice. You like the thing you're told to like. Aren't you telling women, female voters right now, Miss Obama, that that's exactly what they should do? That they should like what you like because you think Clinton's the better candidate? So if one of them decided, hey, I like Trump's policies better. Maybe they want a border wall. They thought that was important. Maybe they wanted tax reform, and they know they're not going to get that with Hillary Clinton. Maybe they didn't want to start a nuclear war over Iran like Clinton alluded to back in 2008. So you're saying that if a person is female, like they have two X chromosomes, they should ignore all of those. They should ignore all policy proposals and just say, oh, but Hillary Clinton's female, so I've got to vote for her. Okay, then by that token, should every male have voted for Trump like men that didn't vote for Trump were voting against their own voice? Because Trump happens to be male? No, there were males that voted for Hillary Clinton. Now, I didn't. I voted for Trump. But it wasn't an issue of gender. It had nothing to do with me wanting to project my voice through a politician. It was mostly because Hillary Clinton fucking terrified me with her statements on Iran and the fact that it looked like she was sickly and about to keel over. And, having Vice President what's-his-name there didn't appeal to me, having him in the highest office. I don't think it would have been a good idea. Anytime that you start to try to put your voice through politicians, you have problems. Some of Trump's fans know this, by the way. Some of the extremely hard-line, single issue, the only thing they want is, to deport 10 million people. Some of those people are disgusted at Trump now. I warned them during the election. Trump is not going to do what you want him to do. You are projecting your own views off on Trump, who has merely alluded to a much watered-down, mild reformist variant of what you're saying. You are projecting your views on him. Those are not his views. They will not be his actions. You're wasting your time. You'd be better off voting for Mickey Mouse, essentially. You don't know what you're talking about. He hasn't even stated half the things you think that he said because you're listening to the same press that tells that same thing to the left in hopes of getting them energized because Hillary Clinton can't do it. And so there are people who were disappointed in his immigration response so far. I think they'll be less disappointed over the next year or so, but they are disappointed right now because they projected. They thought, oh, this politician's saying what I want them to say. But half of it wasn't even what they were saying. It's like the idea of the glass ceiling. Hillary Clinton is a rich old lady. She's not a middle-class average woman within the United States. She is a dynastic career politician. Look at what they say and what their past is. That's how you should vote. Saying, well, they're female, I've got to vote for her. Well, this is a white candidate, I've got to vote for them because they're white. What if people had said that about white voters after the 2008 election? Let's do a little bit of an experiment here. Let's say that somebody had come out and said, well, people who voted against John McCain and happened to be white voted against their voice or their own self-interest. Obama can't possibly speak for them. You would have rambled and raved and said, well, that's racist, it's bigoted, it's wedge issue nonsense. Correct, because you shouldn't vote for somebody based on such a topical bullshit thing. You should vote based on ideology, what's said, what has been done in the past, what's their record, what have they actually proposed, do you have faith that they'll actually be able to do what they're proposing? So if that would be bigoted and evil, why then is Michelle Obama going to get away with saying, oh yeah, well, women should have voted for Hillary Clinton? Why? Oh, because she's female. Also, it boils down to, oh, she's got a D after her name. She's a Democrat. No, the Republicans hate women. No, they don't. No, clearly not at this point. They used to be stuck up on some wedge issues that made them look like they did. Although I think it was more evangelocon religious rhetoric than anything else, and I don't think half of them even believe in such nonsense. But clearly they've progressed as a party into the modern era. Now the Democrats are the ones that have been left behind. You're stuck in the 90s. The Republicans are now in the modern era. By the way, if a woman wanted to vote for a female candidate, why not Jill Stein? A lot of them did. Jill Stein, got millions of votes. She did just fine for a third party that had no support before, somewhere in the 5-digit totals. The Green Party all of a sudden jumped way ahead. What about Gary Johnson? Yeah, women should be able to do what they want. Everyone should just be free and at liberty. You could have voted for Gary Johnson. A lot of them voted for Trump. You want to know a secret here? Here. Really cool secret. A lot of people vote based on wanting safety. And I think that the average person in the United States feels safer under Trump than they would have under Clinton. And all this bullshit about his low approval doesn't matter, by the way. You look at Hillary Clinton, hers is even lower. If she had been elected, I hate to tell you this, if Hillary Clinton had been elected in such a fickle and polarized climate, her approval would be no better and possibly worse by now than Trump's is. But she wasn't elected, so of course you don't get to actually do any A/B testing on this situation. I can guarantee you she'd be below 40% approval if she had been elected. Hell, she'd probably, with the Republicans controlling the House and Senate to such a high degree, she probably would be in danger of being impeached. Trump's not. She probably would have been. She probably would have started a war just to raise her own approval up. She probably would have attacked Iran. Because she's fucking crazy. It also doesn't help that she's sickly and she can barely walk at this point. That's why I voted against her. I didn't vote against her because, sexism, or I'm a Republican partisan because I've never been a Republican. It didn't have anything to do with, conservative ideological beliefs. I'm not a conservative. No, Hillary Clinton honestly was scary. You say that Trump scares you. Trump doesn't scare me at all. I know exactly how he's operating. Everything now is falling into place so that he's becoming, at least to me, he's becoming more or less predictable on many measures. Which, by the way, hopefully the media that doesn't like him doesn't get wind of the fact that that's happening. They're still confused. They still call him the chaos candidate. Well, good. He's managed to hoodwink them. That's why he'll do well. Hillary Clinton, though, she's the one that was scary. Oh, yeah, she's basically sounded like John McCain on the Iranian issue. Oh, let's raise taxes a little more. Oh, by the way, I'm going to stab Obama in the back. She's got like a secret naughty list of other Democrats that didn't support her the last time around. She's probably adding names to it still. This is not the kind of person you want running the country is not the kind of person who spends 6 months after losing the election blaming everybody but themselves after running a shitty candidacy. So no, Michelle, your statement makes no sense. But she'll get by with it. Because a lot of people in the Democratic Party are still stuck in 90s wedge issue land. They're still stuck in that mentality. And so they'll say, well, anyone criticizing, of course Michelle is right because she's a Democrat. And because we happen to think she's personable for some reason. I'm not sure why, to the whole school lunch debacle. Anyone who criticizes her is a sexist, and probably a racist too. See, that's how they get around it. They want to. It's not sexist to say that females should be chastised for not voting for the female candidate. That's perfectly acceptable. But it is sexist to call that, in turn, a pile of bullshit, which is exactly what it is. Michelle Obama doesn't know what she's talking about. Either that or she knows full well and she's just trying to stir the pot. Maybe she's trying to get in with Hillary. Like Obama himself, like Barack Obama can't really get along with the Clintons. They burned a lot of bridges. Very visibly, you could tell they didn't like being around one another too much. I think Obama didn't like the fact that Bill Clinton upstaged him. I think Hillary Clinton didn't like the idea that Barack Obama didn't support her fully enough, like she felt coronated, so she felt entitled to all of his time. I almost feel sorry for Barack Obama. I hate to say this, but I almost feel sorry for him for having to deal with that shit. Having to deal with Hillary Clinton. Yeah, they're talking about, oh, Trump is going to erase the Obama legacy. What did Hillary do during the campaign? Oh, Obamacare is okay, but I would have done differently. No, I no longer support the TPP. You know, I gave it glowing praise in my book before I knew I was going to run for office, maybe. Now I'm opposed to it. You know, Obama's doing the wrong thing by continuing to push it. She's stabbing him in the back. Poor dude. Now Michelle Obama, she apparently still likes Hillary for whatever reason. She has to come out and run interference. Maybe it's just for book sales. Maybe this is part of a deal. Michelle's like, okay, Hillary, I'll do you a solid. Gets her some book sales. And now Hillary Clinton will come out and say how great Michelle Obama's book is when she writes it. Maybe that's what they're doing. But the idea of wedge issues don't work. Identity politics is so dumb. Just because somebody happens to be of the same race or ethnicity or gender as you doesn't mean they stand for the same views. Hillary Clinton is way, way richer and way, way more powerful than the average woman. Just like Barack Obama didn't really help black communities. Al Sharpton never helped a black community. Jesse Jackson, all he does is try to wiggle his way in to get free money. That is, he pretends to be in favor of such things. And there are plenty of white politicians, plenty of sort of, oh, well, I'm a man's man sort of political figures. They do the same fucking thing. They do the same friggin' thing. They're just trying to make money or gain power, and they know how to play off people's stupid emotions. And most of them are stupid. If Michelle Obama is expecting anyone to take this seriously, that's stupid. They shouldn't vote for a candidate just because, I have ovaries. Whoa, Hillary Clinton does too. What a revelation. I think I should vote for this person. Okay, well then, all males in this country should only vote for a male political candidate. See how that sounds? All white people should only vote for a white candidate. All black people should only vote for a black candidate. You see where the problem lies with this at all? Especially when you get a bunch of charlatans up in D.C. who they talk a big game about supporting their community, and they never do. Yeah, that's when you get charlatanism seeping in, you get carpetbagging and all these other problems. That's one of the biggest problems we have in D.C. is people voting identity politics. All the time. Okay, so I guess you're never going to have anyone who's gay in the government because straight people will be admonished to only vote for straight candidates, other than Lindsey Graham. This is a problem. Now, look at what they're saying. What have they proposed? What's their track record? Did they accomplish anything? Or were they like Hillary Clinton, a failed Secretary of State, a largely useless coattail-riding senator who voted in favor of the Iraq War, no less? A wonderful thing about her career was that, we're going to liberate Iraq. We're going to be seen as heroes, she said. She didn't just support it. She gave a speech in glowing praise of it. At the time, sitting next to little W there, whose hand she shook very vigorously when his approval was high, of course, hoping to bask in a little bit of that glow too and show some bipartisanship. We're bipartisan and wanting to kill 500,000 people. Would have been wonderful if she had been elected and done the same thing with Iran now, wouldn't it? And by the way, if you have a political party that engages in such issues, they don't want to help your group that they're exploiting for that purpose. Hillary Clinton would have done nothing to address any women's issues. You know why? Because they have to persist. The perception of inequality has to exist to even use wedge issues. There's the other problem. No politician ever wants to solve the problems they talk most vigorously about for the most part. There are very few rare exceptions. Occasionally you'll get tax reform from somebody who said they want to reform taxes. We might be lucky and actually get a border wall at this point. For the most part, though, they forget what they were talking about as quickly as they get into office, because they want the problem to get worse. Then they can blame obstruction like Obama always did. Or they can blame a vast right-wing conspiracy like Hillary Clinton always did. Or sexism, it seems to be the new line of the day. That's about all. Peace out.